Welcome everyone. Now that Veilguard is just around the corner, I'm sure many of you picked up Dragon Age Inquisition again. So in case you decided to play with the Mage class and picked the Rift Mage, I'm here to show you 5 very effective crowd control builds for this specialization. The Rift Mage is my favorite discipline simply because of the variety of builds it allows, offering diverse playstyles and strategic options. Its unique ability to leech back mana from weakened enemies based on damage and its fantastic crowd management spells makes it a superb crowd control class. For first-time players, the Knight Enchanter probably provides a smoother experience due to its durability and the fact that you can just smash your way through enemies. But if you want to create a nimble, tactical wizard, then the Rift Mage is your guy. With some time and some practice, you can become an unstoppable crowd smasher. Unlike with the Knight Enchanter, you don't rely on a passive to keep you alive, you need quick thinking and well-executed combos to create something spectacular. So before we get to the specifics of each build, let's cover the skills that are necessary for all 5 of them. First off, in my opinion, any mage who plans to do any type of positioning in Inquisition must have Fate Step. Your basic movement speed is extremely slow, which is completely unacceptable, so all 5 builds will use this spell, and the sooner you get it, the better. Also, the following passives are invaluable for the builds. Flashpoint will allow you to use a spell without triggering a cooldown period after landing a critical hit. This is extremely useful if you want to use a powerful ability twice in a row. Clean Burn will reduce your cooldown on spells by 1 second with each spell cast. Although these passives are from the Inferno tree, they work regardless of what type of element you're using. Regarding the active Rift Mage abilities, they all get the upgrade that lets us apply the weakened effect with all 5 builds. This means that when we use Veil Strike, it always gets punching down, Stone Fist will get Shatterstone, and Pull of the Abyss will be upgraded with Shaken Veil. Applying Weakened is very important because this is what's gonna allow us to leech back mana if we have the Restorative Veil passive. Barrier with the Elegant Defense is also present in all 5 builds. It is an essential spell for us to be able to protect ourselves. All of these builds use the same 2 masterworks, Walking Bomb and Chain Lightning. However, if you can't find these 2, then Targets Explode, Veil Strike, Pull of the Abyss and Hidden Blades are all fine alternatives. As for the equipment, I use the Superior Battle Mage Armor schematics with the Battle Mage Armor upgrade. I stack them with Avar Cotton, which is a tier 3 material from the Jaws of Hakon DLC. It gives access to Dexterity in the Cloth utility slot, which can boost our critical damage. Instead of Dexterity, you can also stack it with Magic if you don't have the Jaws of Hakon. My staff is the Wrath of Lovias. I built it and stacked it with Great Bear Height to increase my critical chance. The 2 upgrades were the Split Staff Grip and the Blunt Staff Edge. I built 2 different staff, one has a fire base and one has a cold. For the accessories, I use Andraste's Sacrifice and the Ring of Slicing. The rest of the gear is completely optional. You can use the Ring of Doubt if you want, or an ability damage increasing ring. But ultimately, it's up to you. I use the belt that gives extra grenades because grenades also work well with the builds, although they are not necessary. So let's begin the list with the Slumber Storm Rift Mage. This build focuses on mixing the Storm tree with Rift Mage abilities. Lightning attacks in Dragon Age Inquisition apply the Shocked effect, which can be detonated into a sleep combo by casting the Weakened effect on it. Since Rift Mage attacks can weaken enemies with their upgrades, this is a fantastic way to keep entire armies comatose. The sleep combo can be further detonated into a nightmare or a rupture combo with Mind Blast or Stone Fist. If you have another mage in the party with Dispel or Cassandra with Spell Purge, they can also trigger Nightmare. If you want your team to execute the Rupture combo, you can set them up to use Mighty Blow, Whirlwind, Lunge and Slash, and Shield Bash. You can use multiple different rotations for your spells. You can start with Chain Lightning or Static Cage, then cast Pull of the Abyss or Stone Fist. When they wake up, use the other two spells to put them back to sleep. This is one of the best crowd control builds against enemies who aren't immune to sleep. The next one is the Hibernator, which, as its name implies, focuses on the Winter Tree mixed with the Rift Mage abilities. The purpose of this build is not only to enchant the Rift Mage with more durability, but to also keep massive mobs completely frozen. Once they are hibernated, we can wake them up with a Shatter combo, which we can execute with our Stone Fist ability. Since both rogues and warriors can shatter, this is truly a great build for a team player. The Shatter combo is my personal favorite, and with this build we can execute it endlessly. In addition to our already extensive array of cold spells, we also need some very important passives from the Winter Tree. Ice Armor will increase our durability as long as we are around cold spells, which should be constant with the Hibernator, and Mana Surge can create an additional ice explosion whenever our barrier gets destroyed. So basically the Hibernator is the perfect build against anything that isn't immune to cold. The third build is the Firestorm Rift Mage, which mixes the Inferno tree with the Rift Mage skills. This setup plays on the Restorative Veil passive and the Veil Strike Firestorm combination. Since Restorative Veil allows us to leech back mana from enemies, using Veil Strike or Pull of the Abyss will let us spam Firestorm if we have the Consuming Fire upgrade. This alone can already deal devastating damage, but Firestorm is also an Eldritch Detonator, so if you happen to have Chain Lightning as a masterwork, you can put enemies into sleep, then detonate said sleep into a Nightmare combo. For additional damage, we can also get Firemind with the Searing Glyph upgrade. The Searing Glyph upgrade works with the Chaotic Focus passive, so if you want, you can improve your Firemind's damage by sacrificing some of your barrier. In addition to the fantastic crowd control spells, you can also pick up Energy Barrage to have some concentrated damage on single targets. This spell is also an Eldritch Detonator, so you can use it on sleeping enemies to turn their sleep into a nightmare. So this is a very effective crowd control / crowd damage build against any enemy, but it truly shines against mobs who are weak to fire. The fourth build on this list is the Elemental Detonator. This one uses 3 very powerful elemental spells to absolutely annihilate even the strongest mobs. The 3 elemental spells that we're gonna use are Static Cage, Ice Mine, and Fire Mine. First, we group them together with Pull of the Abyss, then we use Ice Mine to freeze them. After this, we can apply Static Cage on top of them and then blast them with Fire Mine. The order can change between Static Cage and Ice Mine. Using multiple elements will ensure that we remain effective even when facing enemies with specific immunities. The Elemental Detonator works extremely well with the Walking Bomb Masterwork because it adds another layer of devastating spirit damage. This build is really for those pragmatists who would rather nuke crowds fast instead of controlling them. The final build on this list is the Cataclysmic Vortexer. This build focuses on Pull of the Abyss to drag enemies into 2 extremely nasty spells, namely Fire Mine and Static Cage. We also make sure that they stay under Static Cage with the freezing snare of Winter's Grasp. Stonefist comes handy if we want to shatter enemies frozen by Winter's Grasp, and Energy Barrage is excellent against single targets, especially if they are under Static Cage. The main advantage of the Vortexer is that every spell can be executed from a distance. This makes it perfect for those who are seeking similar devastation to the Elemental Detonator, but at a longer range. As I said before, the Rift Mage offers an impressive variety of builds, and these 5 are just my personal favorites. If you'd like, feel free to change them up however you wish. Experiment with the upgrades or even add new spells. Just make sure you have fun while you're doing it. Good luck!